Hi, this is Corinne Sicky. I'm doing the video forum 2 on ethic violations and board disciplines. I'm from the state of Pennsylvania, so I went back through the disciplinary measures taken for the social work, marriage and family counselor, and professional counselor licensure board, and their disciplinary actions that were taken. Out of the actions that had been taken, there was 4 that were extremely common. The top 4 were immoral or unprofessional conduct, and that included mostly sexual misconduct and dual relationships. The second one was the crimes of moral turpitude. I didn't understand what exactly that meant, so I dug a little bit further, dug into the Pennsylvania Code rules and regulations, and in section 237.9, it defines moral turpitude as that element of personal misconduct and the private and social duties which a person owes to his fellow human beings or to society in general, which characterizes the act done as an act of baseness, vileness, or depravity, and contrary to the accepted and customary rule and right and duty between two human beings. Still finding that kind of vague. I dug around a little bit more, and I did find one legal site that gave us a little bit more specific what the moral turpitude would include. And so it can include things like fraud, theft, animal cruelty, murder, manslaughter, spousal abuse, child abuse, drug crimes. Those kinds of things is what they were stating was a part of that moral turpitude. So beyond those 2, the next one was the inability to practice with reasonable skills. And then lastly, continuing education disciplinary measures where people did not meet the criteria required in the state for continuing education. So, of course, out of all of those things, the more serious offenses carry the more serious weight and were disciplined harder. So, for instance, moral and immoral or unprofessional conduct, in a lot of those cases, there would have been a voluntary relinquishment of the license on the part of the individual. And if not, then the board was suspending licenses in addition to fining. And then on top of that, in a lot of the cases, they were requiring additional education as far as ethics and things like that. So, and then as you went down to, of course, the continuing education, disciplinary measures required that they get caught up on their continuing education credits, and there was usually a fine attached. So, as far as the immoral or unprofessional conduct, that was the one that I chose to talk about the most, one of those cases. In this case, the individual permanently surrendered their license for unprofessional conduct for engaging in sexual intimacy with a client during their counseling relationship. It stated that it violated professional conduct, but by the ACA Code of Ethics, and specifically by failing to respect the dignity and promote the welfare of the client, which attaches to the Code of Ethics A.1.A, which states the primary responsibility is to respect the dignity and promote the welfare of a client. It also goes to Section A1B. There was something in that where the counselor did not do the proper recording and documentation during the sessions. And so that goes to A.1B as far as records and documentation. And furthermore, in A.5A, it goes into sexual and or romantic relationships being prohibited. So he also violated that code. The Pennsylvania Code goes along pretty much with the ACA Code of Ethics. For them, it would have been in section 49.21 under prohibited conduct, and it word for word stated the exact same as the ACA did for that sexual and or romantic relationship being prohibited. So those were the codes that were dealt with. The outcome of the board discipline on that case was, again, that he voluntarily relinquished his license. I guess the question that brought to mind for me was why are there still so many? I mean, that was in my state the highest incidence was with sexual misconduct with clients. And so it just concerns me that there's still that many cases of that in our profession. And I just wonder why, in particular, that is still such a problem area. And if even the counselors that are being licensed, if there's something more that can be done to make sure that they're morally responsible in this regard, healthy, um, mentally healthy, emotionally healthy in ways that would decrease the likelihood of this happening. So that is my question. And thank you very much, guys. And I look forward to your comments.